the deadly combo. Hi, my name's Roger Osborne, and in this video I'm going to be teaching you a deadly combination that if you follow these steps, you'll nearly always catch fish. And while I'm doing it, you know the drill, I'm going to be sharing with you what I'm thinking, showing you my gear, and what my strategy is on this particular occasion. Stick around to the end for a free PDF download which will outline some vital keys from today's session. And if you're enjoying my videos and haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe because it helps me and I really appreciate it. Let's get into the fishing. Well, I've actually walked about at least a kilometre along the beach to get where I'm fishing this afternoon. It's worth doing that, especially if you want to get to some really good water. So, you know, a little bit of exercise is good. I've wandered along the beach and I'm really happy with where I am. I'm actually tucked right into the corner near a headland, and there's a great, lovely trough straight in front of me. There's a sandbar there. There's a channel that goes out beside the headland. It's epic. So now I want to teach you the first part of the deadly combo. It's going to walk down to the water's edge. Just quickly, if you're as passionate about fishing as I am and you really want to improve and enjoy it even more, why don't you join Roger's Fishing Online Fishing Club, my membership. I've got some amazing people who are members and we all share our information with each other. There's so much content on there. There's all my fishing courses, plus there's a heap of stuff that's not available on YouTube. And there's no lock-in contracts. You can leave anytime you want. So head on over to rogersfishing.com and check it out. Well, actually, it's the second part of the deadly combo, which is berley, berley, berley. You know, it still amazes me when I'm beach worming and I'm waving around my stocking full of pillies, how many fish come up and swim around my feet. Just the smell from these pillies is enough to bring big fish in. I've seen it. So I'm actually keeping it really simple this afternoon. I've been worming today. I caught a few worms, and now I'm actually going to tie my stocking to this rod holder and let the waves wash it around, letting the scent get out there, and then every now and then I'll come along and I will squash it with my foot to release some of those lovely oils into the water. So I'm going to come kind of on the top of this little spot here. I need to put this, the tide's still got about an hour and a half to come in, but I need to put this where the waves are going to reach it. And also I need to stick it in a long way because I don't want to lose my rod spike. So I'm going to wrap this around a couple of times. I'm just going to tie a couple of knots actually. Just going to let that go a little bit longer. Tie that around. And I might even just give it a little bit of a squash just to get the flavours happening. And I've also got a couple of pilchards in my hand. And what I'm going to do with these, I'm going to walk down to the water's edge and I'm just going to mush them all up so that all the blood and all the goop comes out. And it's just going to go in the front here, and that lovely scent. Oh, I'm pumped. I'm ready to chuck my line out. So I'm going to put these pilchards in. I've got my stocking here, so when the bigger waves come up, it's going to be good. So I'm going to repeat that process every so often with a couple of pilchards, as well as having that stocking just wafting around on my rod holder. And now I'm going to start fishing. The first up, I'm going to do my usual trick and have a fish with some lovely fresh beach worm. Caught some nice worms today, just a good thickness. And I'm going to lob it out into this trough. It's actually not a very long cast. Hard to see this worm because of all the sand on him. There you go. So I'm sliding him right up the hook. Going to pull him up over the end of the hook onto the line. I'm going to put a lovely big worm bait out there. So there's no way that a fish is going to miss that piece of worm. I like it when there's water to wash your hands with. Alrighty. Check my drag. Needs to be a little bit tighter. Okay, away we go. How is this location? It's absolutely gorgeous. Whew. I didn't need to cast very far. Let's see how long it takes to get a bite. I'm getting a bite. Oops. Oh, missed him. Oh. I'm sure that I'm not the only one that gets trigger happy. Unless there's all you perfect fishermen out there. Yeah, I just had another little bit of a bite. Yeah. Oh, what happened? Oh. I'm going to wind in. It could have been a brim. Wow, look at that. Look at my hook. Completely denuded of worm. I think I put the second half of that first worm on. I used the first half, so I get 2 baits out of that worm. That was good, got a bite really quick. I've also got some lovely squid with me that I caught. And that's going to be going out soon. Really just a fairly gentle flick. Okay, I'll see if I can set the hook this time. Yeah, I'm getting a bite. Oh, what? Nah. Just gonna wait, see if he picks it up again. Yep, come on. Swimming towards me. Got him. Ha 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 ha. Yeah. Okay, feels good. It didn't take very long to get a bite though. It was really quick. I think this has certainly got a bit of weight in it. I think it's most likely going to be our friend, the salmon. That's what it feels like. Hasn't jumped out of the water yet. Oh my goodness. You should have seen what I just saw. The wave just came up and there was a massive school of fish in the wave right there on the shore. Oh, that looks incredible. Let's see if I can bring him up with this wave. Oh, yeah. Oh no, he's going over that way. You notice that I'm not going to risk pulling a fish in when it's going against the flow. I really need to use the water to help get it in. He's a reasonable sized salmon. Just going to get this guy. Oh, here comes a wave. Get him up a bit higher. It's going to hold the pressure on him so he can sit there and let the water go back a bit so I can grab him. Oh, no way. Oh, wow, look at that. Have a look at what just came out of that salmon's mouth. He shook his head. Look at these bait fish. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 came out of that salmon's mouth. How amazing is that? I'm going to use them for berley. Wow, that's epic. Look at this beautiful fish. What a stunning fish. Now I'm going to quickly cut the line and release him. I'm not going to keep him and he'll be fine. So I'm going to let this fella go. He's got heaps of energy. Here we go. This is probably enough for him. Yeah, look, look at him go. Look at that. Woo! He really took off. Now I've got to quickly whack another hook on and get straight back out there. This is so stunningly beautiful. I'm hoping that it comes across on the camera how amazing this is this afternoon. The moon is rising. It's not a full moon for about another 3 or 4 days. Until about another 3 or 4 days. Let's see if we get a different species this time. Okay, how long is it going to take? Getting a bite already. I thought I felt something then. Yep, just had a hit. Just had another hit. Got him. Now that wasn't very long either. This feels a bit more like a brim, like a nice brim. Let's have a look and see. Wow, that was so quick. I could be wrong. I've called it wrong before, but that's my first thoughts, is a nice big brim. Hasn't really done the salmon thing. You guys should see what I can see at the moment. Oh, is it a salmon? I think it might be a salmon. He just, not a very big one, he didn't jump. Yeah. Well, there you go, I was wrong. There's obviously a lot of salmon out there. Just going to remove the hook. Look at him. Absolutely beautiful. You know, brim, when they fight, they go jink, bang, bang. They knock their head from side to side, similar to a snapper. And that's what this guy felt like. Here he goes. Off you go, mate. Oh, no, wrong way. Oh, oh. Next one. Okay, now this will be heaps of water for him. There you go, buddy. And no, don't go that way. I'll come a bit lower down. All right, here we go. See you, mate. Yeah, he'll be back out there with his mates really quick. Now, you know, tonight high tide is about half an hour after dark. It would be wrong for me not to put out a lovely dewy bait on this type, in these types of conditions. I couldn't go home without doing that, so I'm definitely going to put out a big bait right around that slack water, because as you know, you've got to be in it to win it. All right, whack it back out again. There are so many mullet out there in the surf that I can see, huge schools of mullet. Well, at least I think they're mullet. They're about a foot long. The profile of a mullet, but they could be small salmon. I like to keep my finger on the line. I just get greater feel that way. I haven't had a bite yet. The salmon haven't found it. I'd like something else to find it. You might be able to see behind me here, I'm right next to a headland, and there's quite a deep channel that's running along in front of me, and then it's just, the deep channel goes right out beside that headland. There's a sandbar there, so that's an incredible access point for big fish to come in. They come sniffing along the edge of the rocks looking for small fish. They'll come along into here and then sniff up through this gutter looking for food. Oh, I just had a little nibble then. Yep. 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 Come on. Yeah. Yeah, I waited for a minute before I set the hook then. Okay, so this is 3 casts, 3 fish in pretty quick succession from the moment I got here. It's a solid fish, this one. A little bit bigger than the last one, I think. Yeah, it just leapt out of the water. Getting near the shore now. Just going to wait for a wave. Don't want to put too much pressure on line or fish. You want to use the water to help get it in. Here we go, look at that, perfect. Up with the wave. I don't want to high stick the rod, so I'm trying to hold it out a bit flat. But he's definitely a bigger fish. Look at that. Look at that beautiful example of an Aussie salmon. And look at that hookup with the beach worm. Oh, I'm going to let him go. This is salmon number 3 in 3 casts, and he's going back as well. Off you go, buddy. Oh, that one flipped his tail on the ground and flicked up sand right across my face and into my eye. Just blinking to try and get some of it out. I was just bending over trying to pick him up. Good on you, mate. Now, so far, first 3 casts have resulted in 3 salmon. I've seen a lot of fish right on the edge, so this time I'm just going to plop the bait over the edge where all these schools of fish are and see what happens. So really it's only going to be about a 10 metre little lob. Just a little lob. Yep, only about 5 metres or so from shore. See how long it takes. See if there's anything else underneath those bait fish. I think those fish look too big for a salmon to eat. But I'm hoping as the sun gets lower and we get that slack period in the tide, that a lovely mulloway might come sniffing up into here while I've got my squid out there. Just mindful of the time. It's sunset right about now. The good thing is that there's very little drag out there. I think I might toss it out again, because I didn't get a hit straight away in that zone, which is not the end of the world, but I may as well toss it out again. I'm going to cast it a little bit to the right of where I've previously been casting. Just going to let this wave break. Alrighty. Okay. Alright, that didn't take all that long to get a bite then. Maybe, I don't know how long that was, maybe a minute. Okay, what have we got this time? Is it a salmon again? It's probably most likely to be, and it seems to be tracking to the right, which is, yeah, just left out of the water. So this is salmon number 4 in a very short space of time. I'm going to try and, no, I have to wait for this next wave. It's a small salmon. I'm quickly going to release this guy. I'm only using a 14-pound leader. That's why I've got to be a little bit gentle with the fish. I'm going to put him back in. All right, off you go, mate. Well, the action's been thick and fast pretty much straight away, so I just want to get back to the teaching part of this video of the deadly combo. And really the first thing is to put yourself in a good position on the beach. It's all about location and just putting a little bit of time into choosing a good spot. Now, as I mentioned when I first started this video, I walked probably 1.5 km actually, including the track to the beach. I walked 1.5 km with my bucket, my backpack, 2 rods and 2 rod holders. Because when I got to the end of the track where the beach first started, it just didn't really excite me. It looked kind of so-so, and I thought it's well worth the walk up the beach to find some really good water. So that's the first part of the combo. The second part we mentioned is berleying, which does make a huge difference. I'm just going to mush this up a bit more, just squeeze a few of those oils and juices out of this. You know, this is not a bad way to do it. It's a pretty simple way to just use a stocking like that tied to a rod holder. Really simple way to burley to get the scent out there. I'll show you my rod and a reel in just a minute. I'm sure that I would hook other fish if the salmon didn't get there first. The reel that I'm using on this rod is a 4,000 size reel. It's actually spooled with 20-pound braid as the main line. And the rod that I'm using is 9.5 feet long, and it's rated 6 to 12 kilos. Another little mush of the burley. You know, this stocking's holding up pretty well. It's not, there are no runs in the stocking. I'm just mushing up that burley, getting that out there. Whoa, get out of the way. Okay, well I wound my line in before. I didn't really detect a bite, but most of my bait was gone. My third point in the deadly combo is making sure that you've got well-matched rods and reels. It's so much more enjoyable fishing with well-matched equipment and line that is the right breaking strength. Now you've got to think about those things before you leave home, because you need to decide what type of fish am I going to fish for, what strength line do I need, what's the right size reel for that, and rod. So I'm always thinking about that. Tonight I've got 2 lines. This one I've only got a 14-pound leader. I'm fishing a little bit lighter, really mainly for brim whiting, and I can still land the salmon. But my other rod has got 15-kilo line on it, and I'll have a heavier leader because I'm hoping to hook a bigger fish on the other line. So I'm always prepared with my gear. I've got a video all about how to choose the right rods and reels and how to match your equipment, so make sure you check that out. I'll actually put the link down below or in the description for your convenience. You know, I haven't had a bite yet this cast, but my first 4 casts before salmon. So it's gone a little bit quiet on the salmon, which I don't actually mind, because I was a bit concerned that when I put my lovely squid bait out later that the salmon would nail that. So I don't mind if they've moved along a little bit. It's a little bit quieter because it gives other fish a chance to take my bait. So my rig tonight, I'm using a size 2 star sinker with this setup with the 20-pound braid and the 14-pound leader. A size 2 star sinker weighs 55 grams. I'm using a beach worm bait at the moment, and my hook is a 1/0 long shank, which is fairly large if you're fishing for whiting, but I've found that you still hook whiting no problem. I'm using a slightly larger long shank because if I hook a bigger fish, it's just a little bit better. So it's a 1/0 size long shank hook. Well, it's getting to that time now where I want to put my squid out in the water. The light's starting to get dim. So I've just put a slightly larger worm bait on this, and I'm going to chuck it out there and stick it in the rod holder. I've moved my rod holder up the beach a little bit because the waves are crashing against it, and if I put my lovely reel here, it's just going to get smashed by the waves. So I've moved it up out of the way a little bit, and I'm going to toss this out, let it do its thing while I'm getting my other bait ready, and then I'm going to put that out. Whoa! Yes, the tide's coming in, so the waves are getting a bit stronger. Now I've got some squid here. You can see this squid's head, and see how long the candles are. Look, get a load of that. Those candles are so long. So the rig I've got is only 2 snelled 4/0 hooks, which are not huge. So I can't put a whole squid head on like that. It's too big a bait. So I think I might cut that squid head in half down the middle. I've just spread his legs. Oh, look at that ink come out of there. So that's an interesting looking section. Half a squid head. So I think I might try this first. It's a little bit, they're not easy to put on, squid heads. If any of you guys out there watching this video regularly put squid heads on for bait, maybe just give me a bit of feedback as to how you like to do it. I'm going to whack this guy on. As I said, the hooks are only relatively small. I could really use bigger hooks with this bait. But I think I'm just going to pin one of them. Actually, I'll put the bottom one in first. Just going to get that so that's about there. I think I'm going to put it in and then back out again. I'm just going by feel, pulling that back out so that the barb is sticking out there like that. And then I think I'm going to do a similar thing up the top here of his head. It's a bit tougher up there. Like that. So essentially I've got two hooks with the barb sticking out like that. I mean, that is sufficient barb to impale into a fish. So that is some sufficient barb exposed, like if a decent sized mulloway wanted to swallow that he would be hooked. I'm going to need to wash my hands, they are filthy. So I'm going to wash them first and I'm going to toss it out. I brought 2 packages of squid with me. The one that I'm using now I've thawed out. This will be the second time I've taken it out of the freezer. It's slightly smelly, so see how that goes, and then I've got some better, fresher squid. But I still think it's good bait. I remember watching a video of a guy who likes to fish for mulloway with squid, and he leaves his out in the sun so it goes smelly, which I thought's interesting. But I'll bring my rod holder down here, put it in fairly strongly. Waves are starting to wash right up. Sheesh. Those waves are pretty powerful. If I happen to hook a decent fish, I'll need to take my time landing it. You watch, I'll scare him up. Hey, there you go, buddy. This guy grabbed my worm. Leave my beach worm alone, Mr. Crab. I'm going to stick him back in the water. This guy was trying to steal my beach worm. It does happen sometimes. Off you go, mate. While I'm waiting for something else to jump onto my line, the 4th important ingredient in the deadly combo is bait. So what bait are you going to use? You know, fresh bait is always superior. Tonight on this session, I caught the worms myself and I caught the squid myself. Beautiful bait. Do you know, it's not actually hard to collect your own bait. It's very enjoyable, very fun, very rewarding, and you can save a lot of money. So I can highly recommend learning a skill like beach worming. So worth putting the time and effort in. And if that's something that you'd like to do, obviously I have an amazing course and I've written a book on the subject. You can find out about that at my website. But also, you know, even just by watching videos like this on YouTube and different fishermen, you can find out how to catch your own beautiful bait. Different types of fish, crabs, fantastic. So your bait choice is really important when you go fishing. You don't want to use rubbish bait. And if you can get good quality bait, that makes a big difference when you add that to all the other parts of choosing your location. And there's actually things I haven't even mentioned, other things that I could talk about as well. But the things I mentioned in tonight's video are really important. If you follow those steps, you're definitely going to have an awesome time fishing. And you'll catch fish most of the time. And you'll probably surprise yourself what you do catch. I get a lot of feedback from people having some amazing catches, using the baits, rigs, everything that I recommend. And it's really encouraging to me to hear that. I'm always super happy because I just love knowing that people are having some exciting times and catching awesome fish. I can see my rod moving. It's just behaving really strangely and I wasn't sure it was a wave or what was actually happening. So I'm just going to hold on to this for a second. Yeah, I'm getting bites at the other end. Oh, I'll get my other line off here. Something's going on out there. It's stopped. Whatever it was. Yeah, I think I'm going to wind it in. That's all that's left of that squid head. Something certainly had a big go at it. I can see the rod bouncing around. I can't feel any fraying on the line like Taylor have had a go. Hang on, let me see this bottom hook. Yeah, there's fraying. There's fraying just there, near the bottom hook. So I think I'll create a new leader and put a new squid bait on. Now I've just created a new 2-hook snell rig because my line was frayed. Probably a Taylor that was hammering that bit of squid. And I've upgraded from a 4/0 size hook to 2 6/0s. I might do something a little bit different. I actually might put 2 separate baits on these hooks. I'm going to use the candles of the squid. I'm going to thread it onto the hook and just leave it like a nice big long worm of squid hanging off each hook. Any fish coming along and finding all this kind of squid rolling around on the bottom of the sand, it's just going to think, wow, I've been looking for some dinner, and they're going to love that. So I'm just going to do that, and then I'm going to actually do a similar thing on this hook. So I'm going to put 2 squid candles on together. I mean, you don't have to stick to the rule books when you're putting bait on. Main thing is that you have the right size hooks that you want to use. You're using some lovely bait. You want to make sure that the barb is going to be able to be exposed enough. So I'm going to I can actually squeeze quite a lot of this candle. The squid candles are quite soft, and it's quite easy to thread it on the hook like a worm with a long bit hanging off. It's actually about another 20 minutes to high tide, so almost right on high tide at the moment, and it's dark, but we do have some moonlight. Well, it's been out there for a while, so something might have taken it. All right, let's just have a little look. Where am I? There's a little bit of looseness in this line, and it's off to the right. Do I have a fish? I think I can feel some weight on the other end. I had a worm bait sitting out there while I was just dealing with that. There's something on the other end. Well, let's see what it is. Going down the beach a bit. Okay, oops. What is it? Is it a creature of the deep? Is it edible? That's the question. It's moving, I can tell you that much. Whatever it is, oh goodness me. I don't like it. It's just not what we like to see. A little baby stingray. Oh well. I'm sure most fishermen don't really like catching these. You still have to be careful because of the barb on them. So I caught that stingray on the worm, but instead of putting some worm on my other line, I'm going to actually put just a strip of squid with a single hook. I'm going to leave a little bit of a tag at the top so I've got something to half hitch around. Then really all I'm going to do is weave it through this bit of squid. Like so. It's leaving quite a long bit hanging on the end, but that's okay. And then I'm just going to do the half hitch around that. And that'll just hold it nicely. Plenty of barb exposed. I'm going to toss that out and hold on to it instead of the beach worm. So I'll actually have 2 squid baits out there. And we're just around the top of the tide now, so we'll see what happens. Just thought I'd check this line, and I noticed that it's sideways down the beach, but there's no current actually, so I don't know why it's gone sideways. Better check it, but I can't feel anything on the end. I'll have a look and have a look at those 2 candles and see what has happened to my bait. I wanted to check that before I toss the other line out, because the last thing I want to do is have a line out there with no bait on it. Okay, here it comes. It is coming up the hill. Look at that. I actually had a full squid candle on the top hook and it's completely empty, but look at the bottom one. It's still intact on the bottom hook, so I might chuck this back out again. I might just put this hook through this bit of squid. Just going to tag it on there. I'm just going to chuck it back out like that. And I might revive it in a minute. I've had 2 squid baits out. This one just got attacked and I lost my whole rig. I didn't feel a lot of weight, but there was a bit of action on the end. I leaned into it a bit and ended up with nothing. So I'm down to 1 rod. I've still got 1 rod out. That rod has got a lovely big squid bait on it. So I'm just letting that soak a little bit longer in the hope that a beautiful big mulloway will come along. But you know, like I say, you've got to be in it to win it, and I am always in it. So let's see how we go. If you'd like a free PDF download of some vital keys from today's session, hit the link in the corner or in the description below. Okay, line was a little bit slack. I can't feel anything on the end. When you see your line go really slack, it often means that a fish has bitten it and swum towards you rather than swimming out. And that was the case. Now I've been soaking my lines for a little while, but my tummy is rumbling. I'm keen to go home for dinner, so I'm going to wrap this video up. Thank you so much for watching. I trust that you've enjoyed it and learnt some things. I look forward to seeing you really soon in a new video.